Hey guys, let's get more news from Dallas Cowboys, but first don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave your like. Trying to make sense of the latest Cowboys playoff loss. 3 days removed from the worst postseason performance I've ever seen in my lifetime of watching the Dallas Cowboys, it still doesn't feel real. Apparently, it wasn't only the worst postseason loss of my lifetime, but the worst playoff loss in Cowboys history in regards to the 48 points allowed. Watching the Green Bay Packers come into AT&T Stadium and do whatever they wanted to do to win 48-32 feels like a fever dream. Jordan Love looked like Aaron Rodgers in his prime, completing 76% of his passes and throwing 3 touchdowns on his way to a near-perfect QB rating, 157.2. Romeo Dew looked like prime Davante Adams, hauling in 6 receptions for 151 yards and a touchdown, including 3 catches of 20-plus yards. Cowboys Nation is in a space of complete disbelief, not knowing how it's even possible to play so poorly to end a season full of expectations. I don't have the answers either, but we can try to dissect just what went wrong and what led to the shocking loss. If any of the players saw the heading above, they'd come for my head on social media for assuming they gave no effort. My retort would be, is that what you call effort? According to Merriam-Webster, effort is defined as a vigorous or determined attempt. Did anyone see any vigor or determination out there? I saw bad body language, arguing amongst themselves, no hustle on plays downfield, and dejected faces on the bench before the first quarter was even over. That script should have been flipped on the Packers, not the other way around. Dallas seemed to be playing the role of underdog, coming in with some hope, but quickly getting that hope squashed by the Packers scoring on their first drive followed by a quick 3-and-out. The Cowboys should have been the aggressor, putting their foot on the gas early to crush the Packers' spirit that they were clinging to. Instead, their poor effort gave the Packers life that they would use to cruise to a 27-0 lead before anyone noticed the Cowboys were on the field. Perhaps even more alarming than the lack of effort is the scheme changes we saw for this game. The team that took the field on Sunday afternoon was nowhere near the team we saw throughout the year. This goes for all 3 phases of the team. Let's start with the offense. Don't let the final stats fool you. Dak Prescott threw for over 400 yards, but that's to be expected after falling into a 27-0 hole. On the first 2 drives, Mike McCarthy called run plays on 2nd and 10, something we haven't seen since before the sweeping changes in play calling after Week 5. What's also puzzling is the disappearance of pre-snap motion from the offense. Dallas lined up in a static formation most of the game, one of the main reasons they couldn't move the football until it was too late. On the defensive side, Quinn inexplicably played most of the game in a zone scheme. The Cowboys ranked as one of the teams who most lined up in man coverage, while their defensive line wreaked havoc. One of the plays that had me throwing my hands in the air asking, "What the hell are you doing?" was a 3rd and short play where Darren Bland was lined up 10 yards off the ball in coverage. The Packers wide receiver ran a simple 2-yard out pattern and caught the pass for a first down with no resistance from Bland. Part of the problem of changing your scheme from what you usually run is the communication needed to make zone schemes work. The players must talk to each other to pass off coverages in zone schemes. Packers players running free with no one around them on the television screen tells you that communication wasn't working. Dallas, ranked with the most QB pressures in the NFL throughout the regular season, only managed to pressure Love 4 times. On those 4 downs, Love was a perfect 4-for-4 for 113 yards and a touchdown. To make matters worse, Micah Parsons was in coverage more than we'd like him to be, especially on a day when the defense was struggling to generate pressure. Cowboys Mike McCarthy vows to grow in 2024 return. Mike McCarthy returns as head coach of the Dallas Cowboys in 2024, but his coaching staff could undergo another offseason renovation. "We are in position to learn and grow from this and build on it," McCarthy said Thursday. "We have established a championship program. I know how to win. We will get over that threshold." McCarthy, 60, is 42-25 in 4 regular seasons with the Cowboys, including NFC East titles in 2021 and 2023, but he has only 1 playoff victory to show for it. Coming off a 48-32 home loss to the Green Bay Packers on Sunday in the wildcard round, Cowboys owner and general manager Jerry Jones had not spoken publicly about McCarthy's status and canceled his weekly appearance on a local radio show. "We've just got to continue to work. There's work to do. What's the direction? What's the schedule? Let's get to work," McCarthy said of his mindset after meeting with Jones. McCarthy said he understands figuring out the postseason failures is central to coaching in Dallas beyond this season. "You don't get the opportunity to answer these questions until you take care of the regular season," McCarthy said. The Cowboys fired offensive coordinator Kellen Moore at the end of the 2022 season, with McCarthy becoming the primary play caller. Dallas faces uncertainty on the defensive side of the ball this month. Coordinator Dan Quinn is scheduled for interviews with the Washington Commanders and Seattle Seahawks on Thursday. Jones was able to boost Quinn's pay to entice him to stick around during recent offseason coaching cycles. But Quinn has already interviewed with the Carolina Panthers and Tennessee Titans, and a fifth team, the Los Angeles Chargers, scheduled a session with Quinn on Friday. Asked about the emotion from vocal fans demanding changes under McCarthy again, the coach said he's only beginning the evaluation process of the team and staff. "I clearly understand the emotion of all this and fans' perspective in all of this. It's very raw as I'm standing here before you. There definitely will be adjustments and changes made. But I think we have a lot to build off of," McCarthy said. McCarthy, who has guided the Cowboys to 3 straight 12-win seasons, has 1 year left on his contract. Dak Prescott, who threw for 4,516 yards and a league-leading 36 touchdowns while finishing with the best completion rate of his career, 69.5, in 2023, was among the Cowboys who backed McCarthy after Sunday's loss. "He's been amazing," Prescott said. "I don't know how there can be questions about his status, but I understand the business. I've had the season I've had because of him. This team has had the success that they've had because of him. And I understand it's about winning the Super Bowl, and that's the standard of the league and damn sure the standard of this place. I get it." Mailbag: change needed in defensive philosophy? In order to be successful, the Cowboys' defense needs their offense to score a lot of points to put the opposing offense in predictable situations. So do you think this team's defensive philosophy has to change? They struggle to get the job done when playing from behind. There seems to be some kind of change coming on the defensive side, especially with Dan Quinn interviewing for so many different jobs. But even if he returns to the DC role, the Cowboys have cleaned up the run defense, first and foremost. And they tried to address it in the draft with Motzie Smith, but he rarely played. Jonathan Hankins helps the team when he's in there, but he's not the savior either. It's the D-line, the linebackers, and just the overall mentality that stopping the run has to be a priority. It seems like the idea of playing undersized linebackers, who are really safeties, is to protect themselves in the nickel and dime packages against the pass. But too many times we saw running offenses just attack the second level because they knew they could get a mismatch. And if you can't ever stop the run, you'll never play dime anyway. So, for me, it's a philosophy that has to change in stopping the run first and getting bigger, stronger players in positions to do so. What's weird, to me, is the fact we've now oscillated from this being a team being one that was explosive on offense but deficient on defense, pre-Dan Quinn era, to it being completely reliant on defense and trying to figure itself out on defense and, now, again questioning what's going on defensively. One thing Quinn has excelled at is generating takeaways, something his predecessors were wildly unsuccessful at doing, but it's also fair to wonder things such as why his unit struggles so much against motion offenses, as one example. We'd be remiss if we didn't mention the loss of Trayvon Diggs, and to a lesser but still important degree, Leighton Vander Esch, which played a part in some of the schematic struggles, but that's not nearly enough to comprehend allowing nearly 50 points to the number 7 seed on your own field in a playoff game. So, yes, I'd say that needs to be figured out, and pronto. And you fan, what do you think of the Dan Quinn situation? Leave your opinion in the comments.